Special thank you to Seed and Stone Cidery and Lucky Buzz Meadery for sponsoring the show today. They help to make this show possible and supply us with the occasional beverage when we're out there. They've got 10 taps full of meads and ciders made right there in-house. They've also got all sorts of awesome events going on, including an open mic almost every single Thursday where you can come out and show your musical talent. So all you songwriters out there, stop out and grab a cider or a mead and tell them that the Songwriters Couch and the Patrick Joanne Band sent you. Again, Seed and Stone Cidery right here in Rochester, New York. Go out and visit them and let them know we sent you. Thanks, guys.
All right, welcome to episode number 30 of the Songwriters Couch. We're soon to be featured on NPR, so I'm going to slow things down just a bit. No. Oh, no, we're not going to be on NPR. That's right, we're on YouTube. So, yeah, fuck that. We're going to be a little livelier. So, episode number 30 of the Songwriters Couch. Holy mackerel, we're at a third of 100 episodes here. Allie, can you believe that that's what we've done? Let me unmute your microphone. Talk into the microphone. Let the people hear your wonderful voice.
Dirty 30, baby.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And on today's show, we have a very special guest that I'd like to introduce here. But before we do that, I want to talk about our sponsors because it's the reason why we're able to continue to do this. So thank you to our wonderful sponsors who continue to support us and give us these delicious drinks that we have on the show that lubricate the conversation. We also want to thank each and every one of you that watch and listen to the show and send me wonderful comments about how my hair looks or what my arm looks giant in the video, and if I'm especially not shaven that particular day. I really enjoy those kind of comments being sent to me, and in addition, you actually watching and interacting with the video, so liking and commenting, etc. It helps to balance out my low self-esteem from the other comments. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel
so. But thank you all. We do have a Patreon page, so every little dollar helps. You can subscribe, or what is that? Pay us $1 a month or something to help keep us going. We've got cool merch. I've got to update that a little bit too. We're gonna come out with some cooler merch going forward. But even just commenting, liking, sharing, etc., really helps us spread the word. So thank you to everyone that watches for real. And on today's show, super special guest for our 30th episode. Let's go. One, the only, Mr. Javi Torres. The crowd goes wild. Javi, thank you for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man.
So why don't we start out by doing this? That's going to be your camera there. Why don't you tell the people kind of what you do? Because I know you're a man of many skills and trades. And I guess where people can kind of find you and what you do. And
yeah. So I've been a musician my whole life. I am currently in a band called Fate's Got a Driver. You can find
maybe
us.
just move the mic a little bit.
Yeah. How about that?
Perfect.
Here we go. How about that? There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I've been a musician my whole life, and what's it called? I'm currently in a band called Fate's Got a Driver. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. And on top of doing music full time, I also own a video production business called Aero Effect Productions. You can find us on Instagram as well at Arrow Effect Productions.
We'll post all the links too,
Yeah,
but,
no, that's
but
all
let
good.
them know, vocally too, because the audio version of the podcast, you know what I mean?
100%,
Sometimes they don't
100%.
look at shit. They're just driving and like brainlessly going down the road, probably on their phones while they're driving. But
Yeah.
so I think we got involved with each other a little bit because of our mutual interests.
Yeah.
And before we get into kind of the depths of that and why we haven't been good friends before this, Javi.
It's
Well, I
true.
mean, we've like interacted. I'm like, oh shit, yeah. There's some reason why we're interacting, and,
For
and
sure.
we'll figure that out over the next few years. But before we do that, I want to get to know you a little better.
Okay.
And the way that we've been doing that is via our little thing that I think I stole from another podcast. Yeah. Yeah, pretty sure I directly stole it from a podcast, but it's called Two Truths and a Lie, and it's where our guests tell me three things, and then I have to guess which one of them is the falsehood, and I have to typically go against Allie here because she's usually right and I'm usually wrong on one of them, so we don't agree on them. So do you have a few things that you can tell us here that we can
I think I could think
can
about
try?
a few things.
And,
Yeah.
And I've got maybe a little theme song. Can I try something?
Yeah. I want to hear it.
Let's see. So. That's it.
That's my cue.
Yeah, I didn't really practice anything or try it or pay attention. It was actually the beginning of a riff that might turn into a song. So copyright Patrick Joanne, 2000. What is this? 24, 25, whatever it is. So all right, so let's hear it. So what do we got, Javi?
Okay, so two truths and a lie. Okay. I enjoy skydiving. If there's if people who know me, I enjoy skydiving. I love it. I've played drums for Cardi B, and I've performed in New York City, Times Square.
These are all pretty big statements. I do like Cardi B though.
Yeah.
She reminds me of like all the girls in Queens when I was younger because I grew up in Queens. She reminds me like a Queens girl.
Times Square, what was the first one?
So
I enjoy skydiving.
skydiving.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a fan of the skydiving. I don't like heights very much.
It's about conquering your fear.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that is true.
it is about conquering your fear.
Well,
That's
they
all it
say
is.
that courage is not the lack of fear, but the being afraid and doing it anyway. Right?
Yep.
Cardi B playing drums
Yeah.
for Cardi B or playing in Times Square. Now that's pretty broad. That can mean anything.
No, festival.
Oh, an actual
An actual
show.
festival. It wasn't like I showed up in a costume, in
Grow-
an Elmo costume.
Growing up in
and stuff.
Queens, I have done that. Just showed up on because that was back when MTV used to do the
busking, right? They call it
the
busking
thing.
or something
So I
like
used to
that?
just show when the Naked Cowboy and all those guys used
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be down there. So what do you think, Allie?
I'm gonna go skydiving.
As the
The lie.
The lie.
okay,
Now these are two truths
I wanna go
and a
with
lie,
Cardi.
right?
correct. Yes.
Okay.
I wanted to go Cardi B, but I'm gonna go skydiving.
I'm gonna go with the Times Square thing, just because it would be unusual to have a festival in Times Square in New York, like the middle of the craziness that is. But two, it's almost the most normal, and sometimes people do that to throw us off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Times Square. You're going with skydiving.
Yeah, I'm gonna go skydiving.
She's having second thoughts.
Yeah.
So. I could tell
So
her
let's-
face was like. "Ugh." All right, you ready?
What is it?
What? You
Oh,
want me-
you're the drummer. You could do the drum roll.
sure.
Do we got? And the answer is, what's the lie, Javi?
skydiving.
See,
Skydiving is the lie. Yeah,
I
she
would
was right.
I would have
was trying to convince her.
I would have said that because I can't stand heights.
Yeah.
So is that also? Do you have a fear of heights?
I didn't as a child, but then I discovered life. Yes, and I love.
So as a kid, you weren't afraid
No,
of heights?
not at all. No, we lived in a like an apartment complex that had like 16 floors. We would be really. I
Did
would
you
have
grow up
no
here
fear.
in Rochester?
Yeah. I grew up in the hood.
All right.
Yeah, the worst parts, but yeah.
Huh. So you were on the 16th floor.
Well, I my floor was the 11th, but still, it's just they had a balcony, and I would just play out there all the time. Yeah.
So Cardi B
Yeah.
was not a lie.
No.
And so, do you have her phone number? Or?
No, I don't have her phone number.
all
So
right.
the gig that I ended up playing, that's a good question.
Just
I
saying.
don't have her phone number. I'm pretty sure they
Cardi B,
switch
if
it,
you're
like-
out there, I mean, just saying. Sorry, Allie.
No, I hit it too.
She's got the wop.
I hit it too.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. Let's not get into what that is. No,
That's right. That's why I said it like that too. Yeah.
This
the
was before,
YouTube algorithms won't bury it.
Yeah, I played a show with her before.
That's amazing.
Code Bodak Yellow. Yeah.
Whoa, oh, no shit.
Literally 6 months before then. Yeah.
How did that? So by the way, Javi is a drummer.
Yeah, I am a drummer.
I don't know if you actually said that you were a drummer. By trade, do you play other instruments too?
I do. I just
But
don't.
primarily drums.
primarily drums. Yeah.
So how did that gig
Just
come up?
connections. Got a call and
So what happened? Did you have rehearsals? Because what I always wonder sometimes about like for hire musicians is like you typically don't have a lot of time to practice. I really like with my band to have a lot of time to feel like we're a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've joined other bands, and I always feel a little disconnected, I guess, from what's happening, unless they're, I don't know how to say this, like in their blood, they're musicians,
Yeah.
right? Because then you just have this connection sometimes.
The musicians we were playing with were just good.
We're phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. So it was just in and out, honestly. And then Times Square, that was a.
But did you have like a rehearsal with?
Well, you always
the
have
rest
like
of
a
the-
you always have something.
Was it just that morning, or was it?
I don't remember. I think it was the night before, to be honest. Yeah, it was the night before. It was in Brooklyn. We had a rehearsal in Brooklyn and then played.
And this
the
was
show.
before she kind of blew up to.
This was before
where
she blew up.
is.
Yeah.
Huh. Did you have a chance to like speak with Cardi B and all that stuff? And you had
yeah.
What was she like in person?
She's exactly the same person that you see on stage. She's the same person off stage. Yeah.
I was just saying, I think before we started this, that she reminds me so much of like Queens girls. I don't know. I think but she's from Brooklyn, right?
I have
she
no
from
idea
Brooklyn?
where she's from.
Cardi
honestly.
B. But she reminds
Do
me
you
of
know
like
where she's
all the girls I grew up with. In
She was
Queens.
cool.
Yeah.
She was definitely cool. She was the same
What
person.
What songs did you play with her? Do you remember at all? Out of
No,
her
and it's not anything
catalog?
on her new album. That's for sure. Yeah.
It's
not-
Washington Heights.
Oh, from Washington Heights. All right.
Yeah. And that's the same weekend I actually played the festival too.
So what festival was going on there?
It was
And in Times Square?
in Times Square. Yeah, they actually had to go through this whole permissions thing to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the call, and it was just like the same weekend I did so much in just one weekend.
Right.
It was really
Yeah.
I was on cloud 9 in a way. I did an interview on Hot 97 too.
Oh, nice. Hot 97
which was
is the
really
shit in
cool.
New York.
And so it's just it was insane. But it was just a festival, I think, to bring more awareness to something. But they had a stage and all that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
People,
But you know what's also cool about that? Because some people think, all right, she had her moment, or her what brought her to fame was her reality star kind of thing. But she was obviously playing shows and doing music.
Oh, yeah.
Also before that, because you can't just, I don't know, like people have this assumption because you just learned about them as a musician that they had some sort of either special treatment or something, but but there's so much work behind what what makes someone become successful. Like it's their networking ability, it's their like personality. Are they grateful for the people around them?
I would say she probably utilized all that, and probably a good manager, I would say too. Cause, to go to where she was, to where she is now, that's incredible.
And that's something that I talked to you a little bit earlier about, like where I wanted to go with this discussion, because we met in the gym.
Yeah.
Right. So so obviously you like fitness and working out and that kind of thing is important to you, and to me too. It's like taking a shower for me. You know what I mean? Like I have to kind of go and do that. Do you find, because you've worked with a lot of musicians and artists that are seriously doing music as a profession, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of thing, doing a being a musician or being a creative as a professional takes an enormous amount of work ethic because of what it takes to be able to do it as a professional, right?
Yeah.
And so my question to you, I guess, is with some of the individuals that you've worked with and you've played with, do you find that to be the case, or do you find that I'm wrong in that assumption? Because I feel like, again, people make this assumption, oh, they've been handed this or whatever. I never think that. I always think they busted their fucking ass to get where they are.
Did. I would say they did. At least the people that I know and that I've associated myself with.
Yeah.
I know some people have had opportunities. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Like how I spun the positivity.
Yeah, 100%. Some people have had better opportunities than others, but man, in this business you really have to grind and make so many sacrifices. So many sacrifices. I don't think even for like the upcoming new musicians and artists and that are out there, they have a certain mindset, right? It's like when you're a kid, you think the whole world, you can do everything. I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be this. And then when it comes time to put in the work, that's what really changes you.
Yeah.
And you can either, it can hurt you or it can benefit you. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It just depends on what I know so many people that have like given up on music and now they work at these like boring jobs and are miserable and stuff like that.
So let me dive into that a little bit. So why do you think that is, without, I guess, getting into specifics of someone? Because I also know a lot of musicians and people that have been like, okay, or creatives that are like, I'm just gonna do something else because it's like you have to. There's a quote of like burning the boats.
Yeah.
And I think we had that conversation too at some point where you were like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah.
I
think what family. I think also when you start to realize especially as a man, you want to be a provider, right? And then when you start to if you find somebody and you try to settle down, the older you get, the more discouraged you get and stuff like that. I mean, the music business these days, it's very cutthroat, and it's changed so much even in the past like 5 years.
Yeah. Especially
Especially after COVID, things are just even worse, I feel like. So it's really hard and discouraging. But I don't know. Music is so, for me personally, let's just talk about like.
Yeah.
It's hard to give it up. It's just hard because it's so much a part of me. And, I've made sacrifices. I'm talking even just to tour, because I worked the computer engineer job.
Yeah.
I worked for the
that's kind of how we ended
engineer.
up.
Yeah.
Like relating to each other. Correct, too, because you were in IT and I'm
So I imagine this. I was told we had, for this tour, I got the days off for work, right? And everything was there. Sound guy, everything was set, blah, blah, blah. Tour was set. And then 2 days before tour, U of R is like, no, you can't go on tour, right? So what did I end up doing? I came home
Yeah.
and told my wife that I quit my job. Yeah, so I can go on this tour because it was such this is how much it means to me. Like it really takes like a certain mindset and a real like a certain crazy belief that you can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people lose that, and then they lose sight of, what they really want.
And it's tough too, especially because you have a relationship and stuff. And I think especially with touring and the amount of time that you have to dedicate to music on tours, recording,
Rehearsals.
whatever. All that stuff. It's a lot. It's almost I always equate having a band to like being married to 5 dudes or whatever, or whoever's in your band. You know what I mean? It's like having a full relationship with that band too, and whoever you're in a relationship kind of has to like share you with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like you found someone that understands kind of your.
Not at first. I'll be honest. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like she really understood. She really understood like what it takes. Yeah, and I still don't know. That's the crazy part. As a musician, you still do not know whether what is making it anyways. You get what I'm saying? But I can honestly say I've had a crazy journey, man. Good and bad.
So let's get into that.
Yeah.
So I know you said it's built into, and I feel the same way. I know some musicians from when I was younger that have like, oh, I gave that up. I stopped playing. Like, I can't imagine that being something that I do.
Yeah, I
like.
No, never.
Right?
I can't. It's such a huge part of me. It was even with my family. My dad's a musician.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna. What I was gonna get into. So, how did you initially get into one, music, but then two, drums is a very particular, I feel like, instrument. Like everyone wants to be the lead guitarist or the the lead singer or whatever because of
or bass player.
Narcissist. Yeah, bass player really?
No, but I'm just saying.
No one wants. No one wants. But bass is a very important. Is probably one of the most important parts of a band that keeps the rhythm going.
Yeah.
Drums, I feel like there's this like personality type that gravitates towards drums in a band too.
Yeah. So. I got into drums because I was challenging. You're moving like three or four limbs, all at the same time, different time signatures, but it's creating a sound. But I honestly got into it more because of I didn't have the best childhood, and music was, and it sounds kind of cliche to say, but literally drumming was like the time where I felt like I was giving my best at something. You know what I'm saying? Like my full 100% best. Like when you see me play, it's wild. I'm a different person.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the zone.
So it's like, the way I feel about music, I always equate it to sex, but here's another way I can equate music to, right? Like when you're in a band and everyone's on the same page and you're all playing together and things are just, going right. It's like waking up on Christmas morning and everything you wanted to get for Christmas is there. But it's that moment, not like the opening of it.
No, it's looking at the present,
right, and being
It's actually that's a really good like analogy. Of that I can definitely see that.
It's like this, and on I think on the previous episode, or maybe there's one before, we got really deep into like the psychological thing of like why creatives do what they do, and it's like this searching for like intimacy with other people, and you get this like elevated version of it because you have the crowd, but then you also have, if you're in a band with other people, you have the bandmates too that you're sharing this like joy with. That's so visceral.
It's such a bonding thing. Like me and my bandmates there's no way you can break that apart. We've been through so much crap together, like the good, the bad. we've literally gotten into fights with each other. Like, it's a family.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And then when it comes to seeking, I don't know. I for a long time I did seek validation, which is crazy in my music. Like if somebody didn't tell me I was doing a good job, I thought that shit sucked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. But now it's like, I had to find, as a musician, you have to find validation in so many different things, and not just that, especially after COVID, because like touring and slowed down, everything slowed down. But I remember there's no better feeling when you have people that came to see you and they're wearing your shirts, they're wearing your hats, and they're singing your songs.
Yeah.
It's like that for me is making
Yeah.
it.
And
you get what I'm saying?
But
Like
here's what I think can get confused too. So in like people that are not creatives or musicians and they haven't done that, it's not like it's almost not a self-serving thing. It's like like experiencing the best of humanity, like what you hope humanity to be.
yeah.
I don't know how else to put that. Like people are dancing and they're getting into the music, and everyone's just kind of happy. And
I think I know
or
what you're
being
saying.
emotional together.
It's being in the moment, because I think every we've talked about this. There's so many jobs, right? People are in working careers they don't want to. They're experiencing relationship issues. They're experiencing death, right? Or people that have passed on. There's so much stuff, but right there and then, when you're singing those songs and you're all united, none of that matters. None of it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I can understand what you're saying. It's like that moment is it comes and goes. That's the thing that sucks.
Yeah, it's very fleeting.
Yeah, but when you're in it and I've literally taken my in-ear off just to hear people yell, sing our songs. It's really cool. Really cool.
I know, and I kind of deviated from what we were talking about there.
No,
But so your family,
Yeah.
you had musicians and people that were musically inclined.
My dad was always a
so what did
musician.
he do? Was he
Guitar, bass. Yeah, he did not play drums.
Huh.
Yeah, I decided I started playing guitar or learning guitar when I was small, but then my drumming just, I don't know, something about drumming just really stuck out. I can get a lot of aggression out.
So did he buy you a drum set or anything? Like get you a
No. So he did, but years later. I started pots and pans. It sounds cliche again. Pots and pans, and then from pots and pans, I would literally create a whole drum set out of my pillows in the living room. Like, this would be my snare, hi-hat, and everything, and I would use hangers, not drumsticks, hangers, right? And I'll go to like church or something, and I'll sit right next to the drummer, and I wouldn't even touch the drum set. I'll just sit and watch every single thing that he did. And then I'll mimic him and then make it better.
Yeah, so
when I got home.
did you actually learn some technical stuff from
So no. So I grew up in like a Latin Latin gospel style of playing, right? So I didn't do any school. I went to Hochstein School of Music when I was 22. Or I'm sorry, 23. When I was 23, I went to Hochstein School of Music, and I learned how to read music and music charts. But before then, it was more of like really learning how to play. And I've done a lot of church music and stuff like that over the years. And I grew up in a church where it's like, if you sucked, the pastor will literally like point to you and then tell you to go sit down, point to a different drummer and tell him to replace you. And
literally Jesus.
And that's how literally Jesus. And that's how
he's a harsh judge. I mean, he's a harsh judge, God, but
and that's how you learn. And I would get pissed.
Well, what's funny is too, I had this conversation, I think with Nate, right? About church bands, and every time I hear a band that's in a church, they're very tight.
Yeah.
And so there's got to be like people that are, running bands or have experience running bands, because you don't get a band to be tight without a level of leadership happening.
No.
You know what I mean?
You definitely have to know dynamics is such a huge thing, especially in church music.
So is that where you kind of like cut your chops in like the church and playing drums and those?
I learned chops. It's crazy. I played drums for Latin church, black church. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just like,
What's the differences between
huge difference
between those cultural?
Well, not those two so much, but if you go to
to a white guy's church where everyone's like, oh, yeah, or whatever. I went to Church Alley, right?
Obviously,
It's very like
not. No.
lots of like Gregorian hymns and that sort of thing. Not as much fun as the other ones.
I've never been to a church where they did hymns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My wife grew up in like a Catholic style of church, so she would tell me about, like, I would go to weddings or whatever, and they'll be like, yo, stand up, and then Father said, and then sit down, and then stand up again. It's like, I didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
that's awesome. So then, did you ever write? Because you said you played guitar a little bit too. Did you ever write? Because this is the songwriter's couch, so I'm gonna see. Have you ever written a song yourself?
I have never, never got a chance to record it or anything like that.
But you have.
Oh yeah,
song.
I feel like as a musician you should, and I wanted to get acquainted with like how to play guitar, how to play keys, how to play. Just so I could understand it better and like speak the language.
See, that's another thing. I feel like drummers have more often than not. Drummers also have experience with other instruments more than someone that just learned to play guitar or just learned. Keyboards is a little different because a lot of people can take like keyboards or piano as like the first instrument. But I feel like a lot of like lead singers, guitar players, etc., don't ever learn other instruments.
Yeah.
But I feel like drummers always know a little guitar, a little bass, a little.
Yeah.
Little
so
bit
I do play a little guitar, and I play a lot more bass. Yeah.
So these songs, can you just sing them right now for us?
Okay. So I did mention. Hold on. I did mention I play.
Yeah.
I do not sing. That's why I play drums in the back.
All right.
All right.
Let me ask you this.
I can harmonize. I cannot do lead sing, but I can harmonize. Yeah. So I'll take a little bit of pride on that.
So, but part of what I want to get into here too, because I had David Miller on, so Miller and the Other Sinners. I don't know if you heard of him.
Yeah.
Rock guy from around here. But he does a lot of touring. And we got into a little bit of the touring thing. But from a drummer's point of view, it's so different because you have so much more kit to bring it on stage every night, put away.
Yeah.
And I feel like the experience is very different as a drummer than it would be for someone playing guitar and singing.
So everybody's always set up before I am.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you enjoy touring? Like the actual road
I do.
part of it and all that stuff?
It's,
the Waffle Houses and the In-N-Out burgers and the Allie's salivating over there at Waffle House.
I do. I think. Tour is crazy because it's the unknown. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what every time before I go on tour or anything. It's just like, what adventure am I gonna get in? And there's always something crazy. Couple crazy things that always happens, and it's like that makes the memories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's like a good thing or a bad thing, that's really what makes it. But yeah, I try to keep it very low key for tour. You know what I'm saying? Simple 4 or 5 piece. You know what I'm saying? 2 cymbals, 1 ride. That's all I need. You know, and obviously my laptop, and if I'm running tracks or whatever.
Do you do that? You mix like your electronic drums with with live drums too?
That's a good question. So I right now we have a lot of things into the tracks already, so I feel like that would be, if I did that, I would have to take things out of the tracks, but I just want to focus on playing. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to focus on, trying to like hit a certain cowbell
Yeah.
at a certain time
Yeah.
signature, while I'm playing other things. Like, no, I'll just let the tracks run that, and then it's fine.
So what do you think? So if someone was, let's say, a new band, young band, it's like, you know what, we're going to do our first tour. They somehow manage, which is extremely difficult,
Yes.
to book and schedule a tour
Yeah.
across a bunch of dates across maybe the United States or down the East Coast or whatever. As a drummer, I guess, what would be a piece of advice for someone new?
For a drummer or just in band in general?
Maybe both.
Okay. So as a drummer is pack light because nobody's going to help you.
That is true. I am not. Hey, let's
Wait,
cut.
you
Let's
know-
cut to my camera real quick. Jonah, I love you, man. I'm never gonna help you carry any of your drums. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, brother. So keep it light, as Javi said. Yeah. But okay, I'm sorry.
That is hilarious. I'm the type of person, I don't like to bother anybody else. So my band does actually help out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is, I gotta give you guys credit. You do. Like compared to what
It's a
other
joke.
bands-
You got to keep the
Yeah,
joke going though
exactly,
about the lead
exactly.
singer
No,
never
my band-
carries anything except for the microphone. He's like, oh, can you guys help me with
my
this
lead
microphone?
singer Randy, he's absolutely awesome. Yeah. He actually does help out. He's a good dude.
So, Pack Light as a drummer,
Yeah.
as just a general band member, what would you say your suggestion would be for a new tour?
Yeah. Lower your expectations.
Huh.
That's for sure. Because a lot of musicians, they brag about being on tour, and they think shows are going to be this,
Yeah.
and it's not that.
Yeah, there's like 3 people in the audience. There's
Your first tour, most likely
a drunken aunt somewhere.
somebody's aunt.
Yeah, someone's
Nobody's
aunt.
related to
she's
her. But
63
she's
years old. Oh, you boys are so cute.
She didn't.
know,
Even,
that kind of
she's
thing.
just been drinking at the
That's
bar.
right.
She didn't even
Yeah.
pay the cover fee to get in.
That's
She's
been there since yesterday.
Yes.
Still there, sleeping there.
Exactly. So I would say lower your expectations, especially for lower your expectations, lower your ego. That's a big one. Because just because you're in a band and you're touring doesn't mean you're famous. If anything, your ego is going to be what's going to kill your band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of bands don't take opportunity because it's beneath them.
Yeah.
And it's like you should, figure out what's best financially for the band. You should figure out what's best decision. If that show is going to get you on a different show, then take it, on a better one. That it's a business at the end of the day. It really is a business. It's harsh business.
Yeah, well, I actually had this conversation, as a matter of fact, Ali, with you the other night, right? About there's this thing, which is true. Like, no one likes to go out and put a lot of effort into something and put a lot of work into something and not get paid, let's say, what they feel they're worth, right?
Yeah.
My point of view is this. The way that a business works anywhere is supply and demand, right? So if there's a demand for you, the places that you're going to play are going to want to pay you to come in because they know they're going to also make money off of it.
Correct.
Let's say, right? And you have to be humble enough to know maybe I haven't paid my dues enough to be worth getting paid what I feel I deserve yet. So I need to put in the work to make myself be worth getting paid what I think.
That's funny that you say that. That because of that, that's why a lot of bands just fall through.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to put in the work. Like I've gone on tour and have slept in my car for like 2 weeks at an end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And literally no hotels, no nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe a motel that was disgusting. Or you know what I'm saying? Like
Motels, I love motels. There's always a story at a motel, by the way.
Murder,
yeah, the pool,
baby.
yeah, murder,
It's like-
all sorts of stuff. You woke up, someone's sleeping next to you. All of a sudden, you're like, "How the fuck did you get a key to my motel?"
yeah, just
But,
better pay for half of the room. But
yeah.
stuff like that. It's like I remember Googling what's the nicest Walmart parking lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, where
And
am I
just
not gonna
sleeping.
get-
I remember
yeah.
cops knocking on our door thinking we're dead in our cars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have, it's crazy. It's
So
crazy.
why? So let me ask you this then,
Yeah.
because most of the time, especially when you're first starting out as a band, you're not profitable on a tour.
No,
you're
not at all.
you're almost spending more money sometimes than you're making.
Yeah.
But the ROI, return on investment for those that are not businessmen, the ROI on that is you're gaining if you've put your work into your music and you're good.
Yeah.
You're getting a return on investment by getting a fan here or there, and you're picking them up as you go along, that are eventually supporting you when you go on the next tour.
Yeah. I've had fans like literally drive 5 hours just for one show and then drive back the same night. I have other fans that have told me to draw something on a napkin and then sign it and then got it tattooed to their body.
Oh no shit!
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
kind of.
Yeah, that's Did you know that at the time you were drawing it? Yeah, that
No,
that could be a little scary.
I drew a
Whatever.
nasty ass tree.
Yeah.
Like it was just I didn't know what it was. I was in Chicago. I don't know what I was just drawing.
Let me.
it at the
Okay,
bar.
we're gonna get into this now too because we're gonna get into touring. Cause
Yeah.
Because I can relate to you on some of this. So, what's your one of your favorite cities that you've played? I guess let's say in the U.S.
Oh man,
And I guess why,
New
or a
York
favorite show.
New York
Yeah,
City
yeah.
was cool. We played the what is that famous place in New York City?
There's a lot of those.
I know there's a lot. There's a
Rockwood
lot.
Music Hall.
No. It starts with a V. I can't remember.
V.
Oh my God! Why I'm blinking out right now. Yeah, it starts with a V. If you, what?
Is it down in like the?
Saint Vitus? No. Why can I remember this? It was a really cool show. We toured with a band called Crowbot. I think it's Saint Vitus. Is it Saint Vitus? No, maybe. Oh man,
Viator?
huh?
Viator?
No. I'll have to.
Yeah.
Tell you guys.
We'll
later.
post it in the in the description.
Yeah.
But why was that your favorite? It was just the crowd and the.
It was our first show in New York City, and I was really nervous about it. You know, we were touring with a band called Crowbot. It was our very first show with them, and it was really, it was just memorable because it just. I think that was the one show where I kept looking up and just seeing so many people just like, you know, you play your first song,
Yeah.
right, and you don't know what reaction
Yeah.
you're gonna get. It can be really bad or really good, and it was just.
So-
Village Vanguard?
No. Oh my gosh.
That is that is a big club though in New York City.
That, yeah. But no, it's gonna
The bitter end. You ever play there?
I wanna Google it so bad. Saint Vitus. I think it's Saint Vitus.
Do you think it starts with a V? Or do you think it's
Saint Vitus.
I think it's Saint.
I wanna Google it, but I don't wanna pick out my phone.
Elio.
Yeah. So but my favorite show out of all the time was one we played in Pennsylvania. There's a small town in Pennsylvania. What was the name of it? I can't remember names today.
Yeah, that's
I don't
fine.
know why. It is,
Once you've been to like
but
50 of
our show,
50 of the cities in the
yeah,
United States, you just
it's
kinda-
crazy. But our show got canceled. There was a snowstorm. We got a flat tire. You know, our bus? No. It wasn't the bus. It was the trailer got a flat tire, like completely. It was horrible, and we were stuck in the middle of nowhere. Did you find it?
Saint Vitus?
Saint Vitus. Yes.
There you go.
That was a memorable show.
Is that a big? I haven't.
It's a Blink-182 played the week before.
Must be like
Yeah.
relatively new. I mean, in the last like 15 years.
Dave,
Where is it? It's Lower East Side. Oh, you probably don't even know.
you should go there. It's a very unique like location for sure. Yeah.
Manhattan Ave in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh, in Brooklyn. No shit.
Really, really cool spot. Yeah, a lot of people go there. It would be good for a show. So this place, so we got a flat tire. Show got canceled, and we were just like, "What the heck?" And then we were like, "Well,
I will say,
Oh, go ahead.
That's always the start to the best show you've ever had is flat tire, everything went wrong, and then all of a sudden you're on stage.
Listen,
and
I've played drums in front of thousands of people. This one show was like the best one, and I'll tell you why. Because my singer, it was near his hometown, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Yeah, and it was near. That was his hometown, and so show got canceled. He made a couple phone calls, and I don't know how many people showed up last second in the middle of a snowstorm. Literally, they got everything, the show, together within like 3 to 4 hours. And people came, and we did the most merch sales there. And people were like, it was
excited. And
I could not believe. I was blown away of the people in Pottsville that just came out to support not just the band, but like my singer too. And it was just crazy. I hugged so many people that night because it's like, you're on tour. It's like you don't play a show, that means you're not making any money, right? Or anything like that. So it's like, okay. And then you have a snowstorm and you have a flat tire. Even the flat tire got fixed for free. You know what I'm saying? By somebody in Pottsville.
Yeah.
It was the most insane thing ever. And I just remember playing that show and having, I think it was like 150 people, 200 people that showed up last second. That's
incredible. It's some of my favorite shows were played to the bartender, like where there's no one there for whatever reason. Just like you have a few people there that want to be listening to you.
Yeah.
It's
intimate.
Yeah, I don't know why those shows are the best, and why those. I think it's the story behind it too, like the flat tire, the hardship behind it, and then having this amazing experience on stage. So why don't we talk about this a little bit? So what is your current band again? Just let's throw that out
my
there.
My band's called Fate's Got a Driver.
Fate's Got a Driver, and so what kind of music are you guys playing now? And then is that the music that you've thought you would be playing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So I can't even describe our sound, really. It's a mixture of so many things, different influences, I would say. We're really excited because this year is going to be awesome. We have songs. We've written songs with We the Kings, Travis from We the Kings.
No shit.
Yeah. We actually have an animated music video coming out. Yeah.
I just did that. I animated a bunch of my band members, and then my bass player went on to some other band. He moved on, and we got another guy. But I was like, I just fucking animated you.
Yeah. It's not.
I got to animate this new guy.
Months.
Yeah,
it takes months to do it. So Travis is really cool. He's a really good friend of the band's, and we're going to be.
So the whole video is animated?
The whole video is there's certain parts where it's not. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Where it shows like Travis singing. Because I mean, we wrote a song with him, and it was such a good collaboration. The dude is so talented, honestly. And so most, like I would say 80% of the music video is animated, but there are certain parts where you'll see Travis singing with my singer, or you'll see me like drumming. Or
did they take like live?
The way I'm not going to give it away, but it was really cool how they did it.
Do you know when? Like, is it?
It's in June. Yeah.
Okay.
We're releasing that in June, but we're going to be releasing.
Is that also a new song?
Yeah. All everything that's going to be coming forward is going to be.
Can you give a title or anything? Who
do you think? Who do you think you are? I am, and that comes. There's this bowler, right? He was bowling, and he hit a strike, and he goes, "Who you think you are? I am." Like, he's very cocky about it. And he's in the video. He's not in the video, but his animated character. He's the main character. Yeah, it's so cool. So cool. I'm really excited for it to get released.
So with regards to songwriting, how did that as a band? Because every band writes a little different, right?
Yeah.
So like the Beatles, typically it was like Lennon and Paul McCartney would kind of have ideas for things. They bring it to the band. Then everyone kind of fleshes it out. Oh, we should do this. We should do that.
Yeah.
And I've learned over this past 30 episodes that songwriting is kind of similar like as it goes across across people and songwriters. Do you guys is something like brought to you by a primary songwriter in the band, and then everyone fleshes it out,
Yeah.
or are you like just
Well, the cool thing about my band that I would say is that like I've been in bands where it's like, oh, this person wrote all of this and this is what it is. You know, this is then you kind of become like that's the
yeah,
show.
you're just a player?
Yeah,
or
you're just a
whatever?
player playing someone else's parts. But I've always wrote my own drum parts. My bandmate, my bass player Adam has always wrote his own bass parts, and and everybody has ideas, and they just pretty much come together. We pick apart which ones are the good ones, and then we just focus on that, and then everybody writes their own parts. Obviously, we show and critique each other. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what if you did this? What if you did this sound? Blah blah blah, and you just kind of work together. Yeah.
See, it's such a hard it's such a hard thing as a creative. I see. It's such a hard thing as a creative to disassociate yourself personally from something. Like if you come in with a riff,
Yeah.
or you come in with a lyric or whatever the thing is, sometimes the individuals that can write songs can take those things so personally that they don't see the benefit of allowing other people to give their creative input to an
Oh my
idea.
gosh, yeah. So I
can
called,
make it better.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I called it death to self, right? Like die to self. You like you're you're not the best, right? You're good, but you're not the best, and you should be open to other ideas. And that's with my band, it's actually been that. And I've been in bands where it hasn't been that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But with this band, I love these guys to death, and it's always been a very honest, open conversation. And it's always been, it's like, I didn't like that part. Oh, that thing's corny. Oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then, maybe you might get butt hurt for a little bit, but then you start to realize that what they're saying is so true.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
I've always equated like I, even though I'm a songwriter, or
Yeah.
I'm the primary kind of songwriter of the band, it's not. I don't feel like it's me that's writing the songs necessarily, right? I always feel like, and this isn't a religious thing, I'm not very religious or whatever, but I feel like it's coming from somewhere else. Like I'm able to play guitar and I'm able to sing and I'm able to write poetry in a way that can fit into songs, but it's not me that's writing it. I'm having like experiences in my life, and a lot of times I'll write songs and I don't know what they mean until maybe sometimes years
Later down the
later.
road,
I'm listening to, I'm like, oh shit, like that. I wrote that. Like, where did those lyrics come from?
I honestly think writing music is a spiritual thing.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
have to,
and I feel like
have to acknowledge
if I
that,
come
yeah.
to the band, I'm like, this came out, like help me get this out
yeah.
the way it should be, and we're all serving the song versus I wrote it, and so it's mine, and you got to do it the way like I can't say from feedback that's good.
Yeah.
Like that's going to make the song better. Oh no, we can't do that because I need to be the one that says this is how it goes. So I mean, you're I guess we can say a spiritual man.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I am.
And
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
believe in a higher power.
Yeah.
So where do you believe, or what do you think? Where do you think the songs come from? Like, do you think there's
always a deeper meaning to them. Like we wrote our first EP. We are one of the members of our band. You know him by Eddie Reyes, the founder of Taking Back Sunday. He was going through some really tough times. Being an alcoholic is a real disease, man, and it can cause a lot of pain, and not just for yourself, but for your family, and it'll affect those around you. If you listen to the lyrics, it was honestly, we wrote them by just watching him go through his stuff in hopes that it would help other people go.
So
through
you
the
actually
same thing.
contributed to lyrics as well?
So I
In some-
contribute. No. Well, when I
Or
say
the
we,
band,
I
like,
always say
yeah.
yeah, because but no. That was our songwriter. We had a studio in Ohio, right? And you know, what's it called? We would write songs based on like what he was going through at the time. So if you hear our first EP, you'll notice that like all the lyrics are, you know, written about like just some pain in hopes to like inspire other people to get out of that, you know, because he ended up getting out of that and he's doing way better right now, which is awesome.
So let's do this because we are coming up on time.
Yeah.
I would love to have you back, Javi.
Yeah. Nope.
So you've got a release coming out.
Yes.
Is most of the band is not in Rochester though, right?
Correct. Everybody's
So
in different ways. We have there's so many things that I probably should have
if you guys are interested, I'm going to say this live on this recording here. If the whole band is interested, I could probably do a remote kind of Zoom thing where everyone in the band is there.
Yeah.
And we can do something like that when you go to release it, and we'll talk about what the song's
Oh,
about
that would
and
be
all
amazing.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So let them know. I really appreciate you being on the show
Yeah, man.
today. And normally we end the show with a song. We're not going to do that today in the hopes this is going to be probably impossible for you guys to do, where you could play a song as a Zoom. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But maybe you guys can do a live version of the song somehow. I don't know. We'll figure it out in the future there. But I really appreciate you coming on, and we're gonna have more conversations about you know where you're going musically. Let's have you share again one more time where people can find.
Yep, you can find my band
music?
on.
Oh wait, and if you're in Rochester and you're looking for film production, talk about that for 2 seconds.
Real quick
until I get yelled
into,
at. Yeah,
100%. I got into a film production actually, and I opened my own company, so I didn't have to answer to nobody, and I can go on tour actually. So my video production company, we filmed for ESPN, Disney, Hulu. Strong Museum, Wegmans right now currently and everything. We are called Arrow Effect Productions.
There you go.
So you can find us.
So if
Instagram
you
and
need
stuff
film
like
done of your band or for your product or business, hit up Javi here and we'll put the
100%.
link down in there. And then what else music wise? Let's talk about your band.
Fate's Got a Driver. You can find us on Instagram or Facebook. Fate's Got a Driver, or on Spotify. We're everywhere.
Yeah, you guys are fucking unbelievable, fucking
you.
rocking band. I love it. You're on my playlist. Swear to God, I'll show you in a second. But you're on my
that means a
playlist. Javi, we'll have you on again. Until then, follow us or like us. I'll put my hand is in the way. My the graphic will be down there about liking, subscribing, and commenting over here. Or here, go to that. Go to that. Oh no, it is. It's been on the last few. Yeah. But thank you all for watching, listening. Thank you to our sponsors again. Javi, thank you.
Yeah, man.
And until next time, folks, episode number 30. We'll see you on 31.